Good evening. I am Zenobia Dallas, the chair of the City of Saginaw Planning Commission, and this is a regular meeting of the City Planning Commission. Public comments are permitted during the designated time on the agenda. This allows the public to speak to the Planning Commission about issues of general concern in the community. Once you are recognized, give your name and address to the secretary for the record. Speakers shall address their remarks to the commission as a whole. Remarks shall not be addressed to individual commission members, city staff, or the audience. Speakers may ask general or specific questions, and those questions will be referred to city staff for appropriate follow-up. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes and may only speak once. Speakers should limit their remarks to business within the jurisdiction of the commission. A public hearing is to address the commission with regard to the subject of the relevant hearing and not to speak on other topics. When the petition, special land use, or site plan approval request, in which you are interested is called, please be prepared to speak. Once you are recognized, give your name and address to the staff member for the record. The applicant whose application is the subject of the public hearing or their designated representative shall be the main presenter and will be allowed 10 minutes for their presentation. After the appellant's presentation, others may comment. Again, those speakers shall address their remarks to the commission as a whole and not to individual commission members, city staff, or the audience. Each additional speaker commenting on the subject of the public hearing will be limited to 3 minutes. Speakers may only speak once on that public hearing. This meeting is videotaped, so it is important that only one person speak at a time and the audience observe respect for the speaker. An affirmative vote of the majority of the members present is necessary to grant a petition, special land use, or site plan approval. Recommendations on all petitions, special land uses, or site plans made by the Planning Commission are then forwarded to the City Council for disposition. Are there any questions? Seeing none, Staff Zimmerman, will you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Zawerko.
Here.
Commissioner Dallas.
Present.
Commissioner Hanley.
Here.
Commissioner Jones.
Here.
Commissioner Moore.
Yes.
Commissioner Nash.
Present.
Commissioner Asash.
Present.
Madam Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you. First item on our agenda is the approval of minutes from January 25th, 2022. Do I have a motion for the approval of minutes?
So move. Moore. Support. Nash.
Thank you. It has been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from January 25, 2022. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. The minutes have been approved. The next item on our agenda is the approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion for the approval of the agenda?
Support. So motion to approve.
Support. Moore.
It has been moved and seconded to approve our agenda for February 22, 2022. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. The agenda as presented is approved. The next item on our agenda is the public comment. Again, this is the time for public comments, which allows the public to speak to the Planning Commission about issues of general concern in the community. This is not the public hearing component of the meeting. Once you are recognized, give your name and address to the secretary for the record. Speakers shall address their remarks to the commission as a whole, not to individual commission members, city staff, or the audience. Speakers may ask general or specific questions, and those questions will be referred to city staff for appropriate follow-up. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes and may only speak once. Speakers should limit their remarks to business within the jurisdiction of the Planning Commission. Is there anyone here who would like to address the commission in terms of a general public comment? Is there anyone here who would like to address the commission in terms of a general public comment? Is there anyone here who would like to address the commission for a general public comment? Seeing none, we will move to the next item on our agenda. New business. The first item on our new business agenda is the CIP presentation by John Baker. Please state your name and address.
Jonathan Baker, 1506 South Sherman, Bay City, Michigan. Good evening, Commissioners. I'm here to present the CIP for the city. What you'll find is this presentation is very similar to the one you saw last year. We made the changes we wanted to make last year. Going forward, those are the changes we're staying with. As you know, CIP is a long-term capital project trying to outlay the next 6 years of planning and coordination between departments. Examples of these are fire barns, maintenance facilities, tangible items, and mostly public facing. Any project exceeding $20,000 must be submitted. Anything less gets handled by OMB. The CIP list is the new proposed capital or ongoing capital that is requested by each department. It's updated annually, and it's prioritized by the department, the Planning Commission, and the city manager. And that's all taken into account when we prepare the budget. Why we do it is to optimize the use of taxpayer dollars. We want to match community needs with what we can provide with the limited funding that we have. We want to anticipate and plan for major investments. We want to create as much transparency as possible so that the general public can see what the city wants to do. It also creates more stability because we don't have so many surprises pop up year to year because we can see what's coming ahead of time. Step one starts with the department directors. They submit their requests to OMB. We then compile all of these requests into what you see today in your packets as the CIP plan. It is then given to the city manager to get his ratings. We compile all of these, turn it into a budget. We send out CIP October 29th, 2021, and received it by December 3rd. That way we could have it all compiled and prepared for you by today. We need you, the commission, to rank these projects individually by March 22nd, 2022. There is a scorecard in the binder, which you can physically return to us in OMB. I've also provided Ms. Zimmerman and Mr. Going the digital copy of it, so if you would like that, you can request that from them. We will then compile these and give it to the city manager. And this is the form. It's the same as last year with the new ratings. Pretty straightforward. These are the new ratings. They're probably familiar from last year for most of you. Imperative, must do, essential, should do, important, could do, desirable. We'd really like to do this, but it's back burner. They then have to show where this money's coming from, which funds will be providing funds for these uses. And this is all shown on the bottom of that first front page. On the back page, they give an analysis and explanation. They talk about their operational impact, and they give any progress if there is, if it's an ongoing project. They also tend to show a picture of what's being worked on or what have you. At this point, we'll get into some of the bigger projects. They're looking at Mackinac Street Reconstruction from Congress to Alexander. And that's gonna be 1.9 million. And that's split between streets, water, and sewer, because they're gonna do water main, sewer main, and the street repairs. West Holland, from Woodbridge to Hamilton, that's 1.4 million. Again, that's split between water, sewer, and streets. Both of those are already in progress. They've already started the engineering for those, and they'll be going into the actual labor of it this upcoming year, if it's approved. Some bridge projects, Riverfront Iron Bell Trail resurfacing. They're looking at converting that into a non-motorized trail. And then water and sewer, they're doing the lead replacement that's been ongoing, yearly line rehabilitate and replace the water main and sewer main. And then a 20-inch redundant transmission feed. And those are all the real big projects going on for water and sewer. Other projects, they're looking at doing a riverbank soil erosion project all up and down the river.
Excuse me, all of these are listed in our binder,
Yeah.
correct? Okay.
Yep, just giving a skim through of the big ones. But yeah, those are the big ones that they're looking at doing. Other than that, we're good to go.
So
If
you
have any
want
questions.
our response back to you by March 22nd?
Yes, ma'am.
Staff Zimmerman, will you also email us the grid?
Yes.
Do you have any other questions, Commissioner? Yes, ma'am.
Jonathan, you indicated that we had a rating sheet. Am I missing it?
It's right there, those first 3 pages.
The brace stuff.
Like an Excel spreadsheet.
The very first 3 pages in the binder
See,
are,
and she said it's that. So which one?
These sheets.
Oh, that one too?
Okay,
yeah, it's the very first 3 pages.
Okay.
okay.
If you look at the second column,
I got it. I was looking for
Yep.
something that said rating column.
So just to give you some clarity, so what he provided to you electronically will be coming, but you have these first 3 sheets.
Okay.
What you were seeing on the screen is the actual CIP form
Right.
that talks about how do you rank it. So you rank it based on, the city manager ranks it, the department ranks it, and then you'll rank it, and you'll let us know what you think is the priority based on, is it imperative, is it a must-do, do you have to do it, that kind of thing. So, but you will be ranking it on your first sheet or electronically, and then you're gonna submit it back to OMB.
Okay. Thank you.
no problem.
And so just to give you a proper introduction real quick, while I still got the mic, Don Baker, he's our budget analyst 1. So he's been with us for a couple of years, and Charlene Orange in the back, she's a budget analyst 1 as well.
Okay,
So.
thank you. Any other questions from the commission?
Just again to clarify for turning them in, if you want to, I can meet you and pick this up. You can bring them to City Hall, drop them off to Bob. We'll send out that digital copy. You can send it to me whenever, or you can bring this packet to the next planning commission meeting. Whatever works for you guys.
Right. Great, thank you.
Them too many choices, Ms. Gates.
Sorry.
Choices.
We're trying to reach out and meet
You
everybody.
need this thing built out and do it right now, Brenda. That's what you should say. Okay.
All right,
No other questions?
no other questions?
All right.
I
Have a-
have a
sorry.
question. Just so I make sure I understand this. On the first page, the West Holland Avenue reconstruction,
Yeah,
1.39, so that's a one-shot deal.
Right here, bottom one,
That's just the
the first page, bottom one.
first page, the bottom one, West Holland Avenue
Yes.
reconstruction. That's a one-shot deal then, for
Yeah.
1.39.
they, that is already in progress. So they've already spent the money for engineering on it this past year. And now it looks like a 1-year shot. They don't have anything budgeted for it in the future, so yeah.
Okay.
And so just to give another point of clarity, what happens with street projects is actually done in 2 phases, where the first year they'll schedule the engineering part, and the second year they'll do the actual construction. So sometimes you're gonna see 1 or 2 years of the type of projects that are listed here.
Any other comments? Thank you.
Thank you.
So it's nice to know that our capital improvement projects are continuing to move forward to improve the city. The next item on our agenda is the public hearing. We now open again public hearings for items listed on the agenda. Remember, the public hearing is to address the commission with regard to the subject of the relevant hearing and not to speak on other topics. And the petition, special land use, or site plan approval request in which you are interested is called, please be prepared to speak. Once you are recognized, give your name and address to the staff member for the record. The applicant whose application is the subject of the public hearing or their designated representative shall be the main presenter and will be allowed 10 minutes for their presentation. I will be timing you. After the appellant's presentation, others may comment. Again, those speakers shall address their remarks to the commission as a whole and not to individual commission members, city staff, or the audience. Each additional speaker commenting on the subject of the public hearing will be limited to 3 minutes. Speakers may only speak once on that public hearing. The first public hearing we have is for case J22-0122, rezoning petition for 3617 Mackinac Street from R1 single family residential to R2 two-family residential. Is the applicant or representative present? Please come to the podium. Please state your name and address. You have 10 minutes for your presentation.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Michael Keenan. My address is 1689 Vancouver Drive. 3617 is the former State Street Methodist Church. It was purchased this past January. We are petitioning for the R2 zone for the possibility of having a daycare in the building. The building encompasses over 17,000 square feet. The Church and Drive is the tenant on the north end of the building by Davenport. They are leasing on a month-to-month basis. And on the south end of the building near State Street, there is currently a Hindu temple. In the center of the building are roughly 9 classrooms, as well as classrooms underneath, and there are some administrative offices. At this point, I am marketing those places for lease as a potential daycare. We do not have a daycare yet, but we think that would be a use that the community needs and would optimize the use of the building. That is the extent of my presentation. If you have any questions about the property or anything that I could answer, I'd be happy to do that.
Thank you. Is there anyone here who would like to comment on this case? Is there anyone here who would like to comment on this case? Is there anyone here who would like to comment on this case? Do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So move, Hanley.
Support more.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. The public hearing is closed. Commissioners, is there a motion to approve case J22-0122, rezoning petition for 3617 Mackinac Street from R1 single-family residential to R2 two-family residential?
Support more.
Second. Nash.
Thank you. Is there any discussion or questions?
I have a question. The State Street Methodist Church used as parking a lot across the street from Mackinac. Is that, do you own that, or?
No, that was not included in the sale.
Can you go back to the podium, please? Right, I'm sorry, because recording it.
That property, we tried to purchase that property at the time we were purchasing the church. That property was under contract to a buyer at the Marshall Court. that had an earlier appeal for cannabis occupancy, which was denied. It is my understanding that there is a new purchase offer in place for the Marshall Court property that will not be a cannabis-related occupancy, and that parcel may be available, which I believe the church is interested in buying as well. Currently, there are, I believe, over 55 parking spaces for the facility. I will speak with Mr. Galeen at a future date to see if indeed more parking spaces would be necessary for the daycare.
Where exactly is that he's?
It's right in front of the BP Golf's gas station there,
Okay.
yeah, across the
So it's
street.
across the street, okay.
I have a question. So, let me understand. You bought this building and you got space in it for a potential daycare.
There is space that is not being utilized
Okay.
at this point, which may lend itself to
Right.
a daycare, a nursery, or something of that sort.
Okay, so the other portion of the church will be used for church?
Correct. The Church and Drive has their services on Sunday evening. The Hindu temple has their services on Thursday evening.
Okay. Because I thought the building was closed, but I did see cars there. Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Any other questions? All right, thank you. Staff Zimmerman, will you take roll call vote, please?
Sure. Commissioner Zawerko,
Yes.
Commissioner Dallas.
Yes.
Commissioner Hanley,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Ostash.
Yes.
Oh, Commissioner Nash.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. The next item on our agenda is the public hearing for case J220125, rezoning petition for 2138 Carolina Street from R1 Single Family Residential to R3 Low Density Multi-Residential. Is the applicant or a representative present?
Yes.
Please come to the podium, state your name and address, and you have 10 minutes for your presentation.
Yes, name is Larry Holman, 8401 Kennedy Circle, Unit 4, Warren, Michigan. And we've purchased the old school here on Carolina Street, and it just screams assisted living. It, you know, it's got terrazzo floors, it's in good shape, it's got a 40-year Duralast roof. It's a great building. I've been in the trades for 51 years, and when I saw it, it spoke to me. And we're wanting to put, there's 3.5 acres there. We're wanting to put condos. Once we get the assisted living going, we're gonna build 12 condos. And the FOP hauled down the streets and arrested in them. But we have a waiting list for assisted living. I mean, it's not like it would sit vacant. It's in demand. And that's what you want to do something that's in demand. That makes everybody happy. I do have a print here, if anybody would like to see it.
Well, I think we have a copy. If you would like to discuss that,
Okay.
perhaps.
Yeah, it shows where the condos will go, but that'll be in phase 2. Phase 1 will be getting the school completed, then we'll do the condos in phase 2. It shows all the parking. We've got plenty of parking. Plenty of parking. It's a 2-story building. We do have to put a freight elevator in. There's quite a few things that we know we have to do, but we're prepared to make it happen.
Okay,
So if there's any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
all right, thank you. Is there anyone here who would like to comment on this case? Is there anyone here who would like to comment on this case, J220125? 0125. Is there anyone here who would like to comment on this case? Hearing none. Do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So move more.
Support Nash.
All in favor of closing the public hearing?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Commissioners, is there a motion to approve case J22-0125, rezoning petition for 2138 Carolina Street from R1 Single Family Residential to R3 Low Density Multi-Residential?
Support more.
Second, Nash.
Thank you. Are there any questions or any discussion?
Welcome. Welcome.
I have a question about the duplexes, the planned duplexes in Phase 2.
Yes, sir.
Who is the target for renters of those, of the duplexes?
Yeah, we've already talked to the people down the street. They're interested the second they're built. Yeah, we've got they're pretty well verbally have committed.
These are families, or are they senior citizens?
No, this would be war veterans that would be living in the condos, veterans, right up the street. They're a quarter mile away.
You keep saying condos. Are these actually condos or duplexes?
Well, they would be like condos, but they would have there'll be 12 units.
So the petition indicates duplexes, so
Yeah, they're
side to
duplex,
side.
correct, too.
Okay.
Yep, exactly. There's 6 buildings, 12 units.
Okay, so they're not condominiums?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
So, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So, you'll have 6 units, well, 12 units for veterans. Will they be family units, like if his wife is living, or her wife, or her husband is living? Is this gonna be a family dwelling?
It could be, they're gonna be 2 bedrooms, so it would,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
it could be
Well, they only, if you're
husband.
married, you'll need 2 bedrooms, okay? You stay together, but, okay. Y'all know I had to crack a joke. You know I had to crack a joke. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Ostash.
Yeah, Madam Chair, thank you. Yeah, and that was my question too now in more depth, because a condo is something that is purchased.
Yeah.
HOA fees. So for the clarification of this would be something that's rent?
Correct.
On a month-to-month basis.
Yep.
at least. Okay, thank you. The other comment I have is just welcome. It's been sitting there vacant for a long time.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and
The,
it's a great spot.
The recent housing study that we did for our planning, master plan, definitely points that the city is in need of this type of living.
Yeah, as soon as I saw it, that's what it just screamed at me. Hey,
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments, questions from the commission? Okay. Staff Zimmerman, will you take a roll call vote, please? Was that a raised hand? What?
No. No good.
Sorry, Staff Zimmerman, will you take a roll call, please?
Yes, I will. Commissioner Zwerko,
Yes.
Commissioner Dallas,
Yes.
Commissioner Hanley,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Ostash.
Yes,
Motion approved.
Thank you.
thank you. Good luck.
The next item on our agenda is the public hearing for a proposed rezoning of property between North Washington, Farwell, Roosevelt, Austin, which was formerly 2nd Street, and North 10th Street from the mixed use of R2, 2-family residential, RO-1 restricted office, and B2 general business to M1 light residential. Is there a staff member here to speak on this case?
Light industrial.
I'm sorry. I did say that. Light industrial.
So we don't have anyone currently interested in the property, but we thought that it would be, because of its position in terms of being on a major road and have access to I-75, we thought that that would be an appropriate place for industrial development. There's approximately 133 parcels within that area. Roughly 103 are vacant parcels. The land bank owns 69 of them. There are 12 residents within that area, 6 businesses, and 3 churches and 1 community center. By rezoning the property, it would create a situation with those folks who have residents as well as the churches and community centers, in the sense that it would make them a legal non-conforming. It would be able to exist as is, and if they wanted to expand, they have the zoning ordinance provides for them to come to the Board of Appeals on Zoning to request a variance on an expansion.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone here who would like to comment on this case?
Yes, my name is Michael Keenan, just 1689 Vancouver. As a member of the public and involved in commercial real estate development, I think this plan makes excellent sense and would be a very, very good use that could make it marketable and developable for the city, and for the reasons that Mr. Galeen outlined. And I would very much encourage your supporting this motion to rezone to an M1 industrial use.
Thank you. Does anyone else wish to comment on this case? Is there anyone else here who would like to comment on this case? Do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So move more.
Second, Ostash.
All in favor of closing the public hearing, please state your vote by aye.
Aye.
Or nay. Thank you. Commissioners, is there a motion to approve the proposed rezoning of property between North Washington, Orwell, Roosevelt, Austin, and North 10th Street from mixed use of R2, 2-family residential, RO-1 restricted office, and B2 general business to M1 light industrial?
Motion to approve.
Support.
Any questions or comments?
Yes. Bob, you know I had a question, don't play. So, I know that we renamed, we haven't officially announced it yet, but we renamed that area. What does that do for the residents? What is that gonna do?
It makes the area more attractive for development. So as property sales occur, it potentially could increase the value of their properties.
So, with that, will they be able, based on a new ruling in the new name, to purchase land if they wanted to, like we do across the buttocks? Because on Fitzhugh going all the way to James Street, we can buy land. Will they be able to buy land over there? The residents who own, not renters, but who own and are living in the facilities, will they be able to buy the lots? Or we haven't talked about that yet. Which one is it?
Well, I'm not sure. We really haven't talked about that, but I think it depends on the location, potentially, of the lots.
Okay.
Because I think that there's potentially more changes to come if the planning commission is interested, to try and make that area much more attractive to development.
Well, you know, it's been a long time coming for me. Since I've been on council, that's what I pushed from day one. What's the read? Yeah, you know, I had many fallouts with people. was to take that out of that title and to put it into a livable situation for the individuals in the community so that they can grow and prosper as well. So I hope that in the near future, I don't have a problem with this, but I just want to make sure that the residents are part of this solution. I know we talk about transparency, and I really do need us to be transparent right now, because that's an area that has been underserved and underprivileged for a long time to me. And so I think that we need to make sure that we are really transparent with them. If they can buy a lot next to them, I'm not saying buy up a whole block, but I'm saying if they're allowed to, I think that we should make that happen, so.
There are areas within the area we're talking about that really are conducive to continuing residential.
Right, but I'm just saying, I know me and you've had this conversation, and I told you I'm okay, as long as if they did and it was acceptable, they would be allowed to purchase. So I'm good with it. As long as we're transparent, I'm good with it.
I'm actually opposed to this change. I'm looking at a map, and the area that you've designated to be rezoned as light industrial, it's 2 blocks from my church, Mount Olive. It's a block from Mount Sinai. It's a block from Restoration Community Outreach. It's 2 blocks from New Galilee Full Gospel. It's down the street from United Church of God in Christ, and it's right next door to First Ward Community Center. So what I'm looking at is the choice to remove the possibility of people who live in those areas and the churches who serve those communities to be faced with light industrial, not across the street on Washington, but in their backyards. That's the problem I have. I know we're trying to remove the Green Reserve Opportunity Area stigma, but just as we did with the previous case, there is the designation for urban venture area. That's what I would like to see in that area. I'm, again, opposed to this rezoning because it does not fit for me in terms of what to do with people who actually live in that community, where they're now going to face possible light industrial businesses on that side of the street. I have just a very bad feeling about that. Those are my thoughts.
So tell us what's light industrial.
There's an
There's
entire list.
a list in the report that shows what's available.
Okay.
Light industrial.
One thing I do want to mention that comes along with being located next to any residential uses is a buffer. So they would be required to put up privacy fences and landscaping, if that does help at all. And as Bob stated, nobody is ever kicked out. It is a legal non-conforming use. Anything that is already there, if it does not fit that M1 zone. But majority of it is vacant land that can then be assembled into larger acreage, which will be more attractive to different types of businesses.
M1 permitted uses are assembly, fabrication, manufacture, packaging, or treatment of such products. Assembly, fabrication, manufacture, or treatment of such products, it says that twice. Wholesale bakeries, buffing, polishing, or electric plating, excluding heat-treated furnaces, building supply, solid fuel businesses, or contracting firms with incidental storage yards on the same lot, including building and allied craft contractors, subject to standards established in the ordinance 153.455 through 153.491, central dry cleaning plants and laundries, laboratories, research or testing, tool and die shops. Do you understand what I'm talking about, Madam
Yes, I do.
Mayor?
Yes, I do. However, you know we got to go round and around. There, on Washington Street, in that little strip, there used to be a Cleaners. There used to be these things in that area. I remember CIO Hall, the bowling alley. Okay, now I do have a problem with another plant. But these areas that we picked, and I heard you say buffer, so that means even with the fence, I guess, because the area has been neglected, let's be honest, neglected so long, it's gonna take a lot to bring it back. And so, in passing this to making it that, I don't wanna see it be a marijuana growth place. I don't wanna see any of that over there. I mean, maybe that's being real hard.
It's permitted by special use, Madam Mayor.
It's permitted
sorry.
right now in B2s as well, which,
But it's permitted in
But
B2,
retail-
but they also come in front of us, so, you know.
exactly.
I'm looking at our attorney. And so, I know, Miss Amy, I put you on the spot all the time. You know what, I wanna see the city grow, and I wanna see the city move forward, and I truly do. But I don't wanna see it move forward at the expense of hurting the citizens. I don't. I think that the game plan is good. Bob, we talked about it, and I told you then, I'm good with it, as long as it is something that's gonna be conducive for the neighbors and the neighborhood. You know, I guess I didn't look at all the churches, because it is probably 1, 2, 3, 4. When I add up, I think it's like 6 churches, 7 churches in a row. You ain't gotta count them, I already know, okay? I've been here all my life. So,
Well, and with that many churches, it might affect the ability for like a marijuana
see, that's what I
to
thought.
go in because of the buffer zone in the setbacks. So there's those considerations that play into.
Chair Dallas,
Yes, ma'am.
it may affect, because all of them churches, you know, it's churches right around the corner.
I drive by 7 churches on my way to church.
That's right. So that means that neighborhood should be holy. Should be a whole lot of praying going on over there.
Any
I
other
also
comments? I'm
want
sorry.
to just inform you guys one more thing. Everybody within that district received a postcard, and everybody within 300 feet of that
And everybody,
district
what,
received
say that again?
Everybody within that district, every property owner and every property, so anybody who lives there received a postcard, and everybody within 300 feet of that buffer, within those properties.
I know, I
received a
got family
postcard
sitting
as
in the
well.
back. They live in that area. And they showed up.
Yep.
But they didn't speak.
No, they didn't speak.
Did you receive any public written comments, Bob?
I did not. I did receive a call from someone just trying to understand what we were trying to do, and he didn't seem to have much of a problem with it.
So you explained it? All right, Mr. Bob.
It's also always I don't think we ever mentioned this, but it also gets posted in MLive and in the clerk's office.
Any other comments or questions from the commission?
Just a comment for me is, I understand what Mayor Moore is talking about, and me as well. We don't want,
Brenda.
Brenda, I'm sorry,
Brenda
the
tonight.
planning commission.
Mayor Moore.
What Brenda is saying, and we want to move the city forward, but we don't want to hurt it, so, with that said, even with me in the Cathedral District, I would hope that we wouldn't get like a fabrication, like a metal plant, because I get, trust me, I get calls. I'm not gonna say the company, but you can hear the pounding of the stamping that takes place. And at night in the city, it's like a ripple effect across the water, so, if this does get rezoned, I would hope that there would be smaller shops, restaurants, maybe like detailing shops, things that would be there. That would be my hope. So that's.
So that means you
My-
can start looking for
my-
businesses
my
to go
two-
over there. That's what that
I'm
means.
still looking.
You start looking.
I'm still talking. So if anybody's watching, call me.
Any other comments, questions? Staff Zimmerman, will you take a roll call vote, please?
Yes.
Just a reminder, if it's a vote in the negative for each of you, to please state your reason and date.
Commissioner Zawerko,
Yes.
Commissioner Dallas,
No, I'm concerned about the negative impact on the community there. There's a African-American community that has been disenfranchised for a number of decades.
Commissioner Hanley,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Ostash.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. The next item on our agenda is the review and comment on Pear Marquette, Potter Street Station Historic District preliminary report. Is there someone here to speak on this?
This isn't a public hearing.
Yeah.
No, I mean, we have this, do you just want us to discuss it, or?
Yes, the
What
planning
action?
commission just has to review and file this document. This is, we actually have not had one come before the planning commission, as long as I've been, administering this board. But essentially, this is a part of what the Historic District Commission does, and Bill, feel free to fill in whatever I don't say, but
Yeah,
essentially.
so you're on the historic,
He was prior to being on council. So essentially, a committee has been formed at the request of a group that actually manages the Potter Street Station to study the station, to be able to designate it as a historic building, a historic landmark, so that they will then be able to benefit from tax deductions and things like that to hopefully be able to repair, make it more marketable to be able to redevelop the property. So this is all information just about that building.
And so there's a number of steps the Historic District Commission Study Committee has to follow in order to create a historic district. And one of those steps is to send it to 4 different entities, one of whom is the Planning Commission. This is the opportunity for the Planning Commission to make any sort of comments that would ultimately go back to that committee. That committee will also hold a public hearing on it, and ultimately all of those comments come into the final report, which then goes to City Council for.
so from what I see on page 27, the area indicated in a red demarcation, that is the proposed district, historic district?
Yes.
Just that section there?
Yes.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
So what they're actually doing, because it stands alone and it doesn't have any other buildings around it, this would be considered a single entity district, so it's a district on itself, like the Temple Theater, the Jefferson one, the Armory. Those are the 3 that we have right now. And so what Cassie was talking about too, because I am very familiar with this project that they've been working on, the Potter Street Station owners have actually asked the Historic District to actually form the committee and do the study for themselves. When things are now a local district, under the new state statutes for the tax credits for state historic tax credits, it's a 25% tax credit incentive as well. And so what's nice about this, not only interior but exterior renovation, so that's something that they could actually look at. This building's being looked at also too as a feasibility study for STARS, so there's an interest there without speaking for STARS. And that's really about it.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments or thoughts about this project? I actually thought it was a very interesting project. I started thinking about, I hadn't thought about the STARS option, but I thought about perhaps small shops, small businesses, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Could be used to create a, kind of like an area there, kind of like just a little bit outside the city downtown proper, so.
At one time it was. Across this Potter Street, it was
Okay.
quite a community, business community.
This is the last Victorian train station in the United States.
Great.
And the group that's been keeping the lights on and trying to get the repairs done, they're kind of at their end now where they're looking for other opportunity, and it's raised a lot of interest. Once the building is a local district, if anybody does make repairs to them, they have to go to the Historic District Commission for the approval so that they're not taking off the architectural effects that make up the architecture.
Maintain
So,
it, right.
thank you. That's
So
all I
we
have.
just need to make a motion to accept this
The preliminary report, right. Is there a motion to accept the preliminary report on the Marquette Potter Street Station Historic District?
So move more.
Second.
All in favor of accepting this report?
Aye.
And opposed? Thank you. Next item on our agenda is old business, the master plan status update.
Nothing, I looked it up, we're good on that.
So what we have now, the Parks and Recreation Plan has been submitted to the DNR, which is a component of the master plan. We have received some preliminary kind of general goals for the master plan, and we're working through those. At your next meeting, we will be providing you with some of those things as well as some strategies to accomplish the goals, and then we can review those and come up with anything else that we would like to include within that. Hopefully then we would also have the proposed land use plan for the city as well for you to review and take a look at. And we may even have to have a special meeting just for that, depending on the agenda schedules.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is adjournment. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
So move more.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Meeting is adjourned at 6:52.